Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful 2nd of June, 2020. Coming up on the CRUSTYCANUCK podcast, halftime. That's right. Halfway through 2020, and look what we've done. All that and more coming up on the CRUSTYCANUCK podcast. Stay tuned.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
Brought to you by the Rampage Coffee Company. Strong, rich, and smooth. Rampage Coffee Company. Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, CRUSTYCANUCK. And, wow, look at the recent events going on in our continent today. And I will say continent because it doesn't just affect Americans. It is affecting Canadians, too, and possibly a few Mexicans down south of the United States border. Anyhow, yes, we all know a decent human being was killed by a police officer. We all see it. We've all seen the video clips from every major news outlet, from independent media, from podcasters alike, and all the aspects of social media. And what gets me with this whole racial thing is that anywhere from 10 years ago, I don't think there was as much racism as being projected. What happened to that individual, Mr. Lloyd, was wrong. We can all agree on that. We all agree that being apprehended over a counterfeit $20 in that manner is wrong. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, pink, purple, whatever you identify was wrong. And it was wrong that he was killed in the process, that he died due to those injuries. What I don't get and what I don't like is the fact that mainstream media is calling all these looters and destroyers protesters. Now, to me, a protest is when you go out, hold your sign up, stand by what you believe in, stand by your convictions, and scream to the heavens and protest and speak your mind and all this. But I have never taken part in any kind of protest where I got to smash someone's business or destroy someone's property, whether it be city property or town property or community property or anything of that matter. Okay? I'll be adding links to the podcast here in regards to individuals smashing windows, taking things, setting things ablaze, stealing, all in the name of this George Lloyd. Right? Really? You're making a point by doing that? Huh? Like I've said in the other few episodes, I have predicted violence coming. You know, not because of the action of one police officer and a few other police officers, but based on the action of what our government's doing. And now both of our governments, Canadian and American alike, keep pulling the race card again. All right. Justin Trudeau had a question from ABC News, and I'll leave a link in the description about that, where he actually paused for about 21 seconds, couldn't answer a direct goddamn question. And then he's talking about the anti-black racism that's going on in Canada right now. Well, Mr. Trudeau and Miss McKenna and Miss Freeland and all you so-called virtue signalers, where is this racism you speak of? Where is it? Okay? Where is this bigotry that you talk of? Now, every country has its fair share of bigotry one way or the other. Okay? In my grandparents' generation, there was a big stink about who was Catholic, who was Protestant. Right? It didn't matter if you're black or white. It didn't matter at all. It mattered how you preach your God. There's still bigotry around in regards to certain aspects of religion and livelihoods. That's just the way life goes for some people. Okay? But to sit there and to tell the masses, to tell the nation that, oh yes, we have such a rampant problem with racism in Canada. Guess again, fucky. There's an article that Rex Murphy wrote the other day there, in regards to Catherine McKenna and her statements about racism in Canada. Yet she's been out of the spotlight. Well, she's been in the spotlight. According to Rebel Media, she's had quite a few pictures taken of her while she's kayaking. So much for social distancing, eh? Yeah, okay. So, that being said, I'm getting really, really sick and tired of people pulling the card, riding the coattails of someone else's misery here. Okay, in Canada, we've had our racial problems. Yes, we had problems with the First Nations, not because of them being First Nations, because some of the stupid laws that our history has proven to be unsuccessful and really unfair. The residential schooling was unfair, a terrible part in our fucking history. I'm not proud of that at all. Anybody in their right mind would not be proud of that kind of fucking system that happened. I'm not proud of the fact that we had laws back in the early 1900s that forced children into fucking coal mines. I'm not proud of the fact that we had laws at one time that said it was okay to sterilize the mentally challenged, right? But that's history. That's not going on anymore. That has been going on for fucking some time. Okay? I'm not proud of the fact that there was law to take Native children from their reservations and throw them into a Catholic school. I'm not proud of that at all. That's wrong. That was immoral. That's a heinous fucking crime as far as I'm concerned. But when our leaders are sitting there on national television claiming to the heavens that, oh my God, there's so much racism in Canada, let's talk about their actions towards racism. How about the 3 situations of blackface, Mr. Trudeau? Okay? How about that? How about those 3 situations where you put blackface on? It doesn't matter if you're in high school or if you're in college, you're just goofing around, quote unquote. You did it. Period. Okay? And what was your explanation for that? Okay? And you're sitting there and you're condemning Donald Trump for putting troops in the cities. Well, I hate to tell you, but what else is he going to do? You can sit there and talk about totalitarianism all you want. You, sir, and your party has done nothing but promote totalitarianism. We're now halfway through 2020. Your party has lied about the beer bug. 1 minute we were supposed to put masks on, next minute we're not. 1 minute put gloves on, next minute we're not. Oh, we can't get anything from surfaces. We can't get anything from this. Oh, no. And now, Dr. Theresa Tam and Patty Haydu are saying, oh, okay, it's okay to go out and protest. Just don't yell. Yeah, and just don't talk moistly. Yeah, okay. What the fuck is that? That's my question, people. What is that? Anyway, tell me how you feel. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook under the same name, Crusty Canuck. On Instagram, Canuck Crusty. And you can also find me on Twitter. And if you do feel like donating, please do. I'm trying to raise some funds to make this podcast even bigger and broader. Hopefully in some time with some videos and some skits and what have you. And please consider donating. And I also like to give a contribution to my donations, from my donations to the Veteran Association Food Bank. I will leave a link at the bottom of the description. So you guys can decide on your own if you want to donate to them or donate through me, either or. Doesn't matter. They're a great institution. They help veterans out in times of need. They provide food, insight, and work. They build access ways for vets in wheelchairs with disabilities. So they're a good group of people down there in Calgary. Which brings me to another point, too. They recently had a big BLM march in Calgary, too. And there's a link from the Rebel Media I'll leave in the description, too, where they're trying to justify the violence. Now, I believe in fighting for your country. I believe in defending your home and your friends from tyranny and from death. But I don't believe in ransacking people's businesses. I don't believe in ransacking people's livelihoods just because you're pissed off over one man's death. It was terrible. And as far as I know, that cop has been prosecuted. He's been charged. He's now in cells as we speak. So that speaks for itself. But for every major city, from New York to Dallas to San Jose to Portland, right? St. Paul and Minneapolis. What are you trying to prove? Montreal, what are you trying to prove? Huh? To sit there and say that there's rampant racism in Canada 24/7, that is disingenuous and dis-fucking honest. My God, have you not seen the immigration policies that we have had the past 5 years? Regardless if you agree with it or disagree with it, people are crossing the border, getting in, and trying to find a better life too. I kind of disagree with it because I'd prefer people come in legally, right? Like I have to, right? Like we've had to. We've had to follow the law. What's your excuse? Right? But to sit there on national television, Liberal Party and supporters alike, and oh my God, there's so much black racism in this country. No, there isn't. Right? There are bigots out there, yes, but I've actually personally met bigots from all walks of life. So guess what? Every Canadian's guilty, one way or the other, for knowing or hearing a comment or two. But not to a point where their businesses have to be destroyed, their livelihoods have to be compromised. We've spent the better part of 3 months being cooped up with this ridiculous beer bug notion. Now the health officials are saying, okay, now let's go outside to go and protest. But it wasn't allowed. We weren't allowed to go outside, take our kids to the park. We weren't allowed to ride our bikes. We're not allowed to walk your dog. Not allowed to rollerblade? But that's okay. You can converge en masse and start throwing bricks. Yeah, that's allowed. So, my question to you, Canada, and my other listeners, where is the leadership? Huh? Where is it? Where's it gone? Who's getting paid? Like every other conspiracy out there, follow the money. So we know where the money's going. It's coming from the taxpayer to the federal government. Okay? You've heard me ramble on in every other episode talking about equality and racism. I was not raised in a racist household. Neither were my parents. There was bigotry around, of course. There were people making comments about Jewish people or people making comments about Catholic people, right? But this whole notion where the government has the fucking gall to sit there on national television and say, oh, there's so much racism in Canada. Bullshit. Bullshit. And I will debate anyone. You know how to contact me. I will debate anybody about that. I've witnessed prejudice in my life, but it wasn't black versus white or white versus brown or brown versus black. It was prejudice from growing up. I received prejudice from teachers because they didn't like my haircut. I received prejudice from certain authority figures because they didn't like my type of music. And that dynamic happens to everybody. You grow up with it. You learn. You become resilient. You become a fucking adult. But no, we can't have that now because one person was wrongfully fucking dismissed, wrongfully killed, might add. Right? And now all cops are under question? How's that fair? Huh? I've said again, I personally work with police officers. I have worked with police officers, and no, they're not bigots. They're not racist. They're upstanding citizens. They're down-to-earth human fucking beings like you and I should be. But I guess we're above that. I guess there's too much identity representation out there to worry about actually trying to be a decent fucking human being. So I am asking you, my listeners, and my fans alike, please, don't cater to this bullshit. If you find a pile of bricks someplace, smash them, destroy them, or hide them, or get rid of them. Okay? They're having that down in the States right now. There's a link from the Joe Rogan podcast where they're talking about that. Bricks that are just strategically placed in certain areas. How convenient. So it seems like the powers that be want riots and want distrust and distrust between people. Let me guess, to usher in some kind of socialist clause, usher in martial law, usher in more control, right? How convenient that these things have happened just now, too, during the so-called quarantine and pandemic. For what? Okay? What is the purpose? What is the ultimate goal here? Okay? And now, of course, our leaders are sitting there pulling the old race card when they've suspended Parliament until fucking September, right? Because of the whole beer bug issue, right? It's just going to prove total laziness, ladies and gentlemen. Total effing laziness. Right? They get the big bucks. They give themselves a raise. They sit there and they banter back and forth. You know, there's some parliamentary action going on, but they're not sitting in Parliament. Why? So the NDP and the Liberals can sit there on their hands and scream racism in every frickin' corner. I wish those people would blow it out their fucking ass. And I said those people, those supporters. I wasn't talking about race or identity. Those people that supported the Liberal and NDP decisions. Okay? I know you all come in all shapes and sizes. But enough is enough. We are halfway through the year 2020, and what has been accomplished? Nothing but fear and tyranny. Well, let's start fighting this fear, and let's put a stop to this fucking tyranny. Okay? Here's a suggestion. Don't cater to the mass. Don't follow the status quo. Start asking the hard questions yet again. I'm in a position where I just can't get up and move financially and go and protest this ridiculous fucking behavior. But I will defend my home. And I will defend my friend's home. And my family and my loved ones. And I encourage you to do the same. Defend your businesses. Defend your way of life. Right? To all the Antifa weirdos and little commie kids out there that think they're doing the world a favor, guess again. Don't be crying home back to your basement, to your mommies, or your safe spaces if someone's going to take a 2x4 upside your head. or someone starts throwing bricks at you, right? You sit there, you call yourselves anti-fascist, yet you're promoting fascism to its fucking finest. You hypocrites, you walking contradictions. You make me want to puke. Okay, time out. I'm having a smoke. Calm, breezy. Anyhow, as I was saying, it's a shit show, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fucking shit show. And yes, I'm dropping the F-bomb. I'm cursing a lot. So what? I'm pissed. Wife and I are sitting there watching television, watching this chaos unfold. And yet what's being done about it? And then so-called leaders, again, weighing in on the whole, oh my God, it's violence, it's wrong. And yet you're encouraging violence. You're allowing people in Montreal to smash windows and businesses and steal guitars, right? How is that helping honoring the memory of that fallen gentleman? How is that honoring the memory of that? Bringing justice. No, okay. We don't agree with what you're doing, but we're going to join the riot and start smashing shit. Yeah, well done, sirs and ma'ams. You morons. See, that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you kiss and sleep with your cousin. You get that. Holy shit. Oh. I really don't know what else to say, ladies and gentlemen, other than it's a pitiful display of humanity. It's a pitiful, disgusting display of power. And there's no accountability. Again, right? We have a government that suspends Parliament because of convenience. They know as well as I do that they're not doing the right thing, but they don't care, right? They don't care. They'd rather sit there and pull the race card and enjoy the media narrative when it comes to, oh, there's such rampant racism here. I'm not denying the fact that there was racism in Canada. I'm not denying the fact there are people in Canada that can be racist. But it's not stopping anybody from getting a job, from voting, from paying taxes, from progressing, to going to school. You look at any university application or college application in this nation, you are going to see at least a page or more dedicated to finding out your fucking identity. From your name to your gender, how you identify, to your racial background, to your ethnic background, everything. Don't sit there and tell me that there's rampant racism in Canada. Okay? Every job application I've seen since I left the Army has had about a page worth of asking your fucking identity. How is that relevant? Meritocracy is key. It shouldn't matter if I'm black, white, pink, Jewish, Catholic, lemon worshipping. It doesn't matter. But we're constantly being told it does. And then the moment someone dismays or someone dies in the process, then all of us are in the same category as bigots or racists, which is totally fucking unfair. I was raised better than that. And I'm going to assume you were all raised better than that. Anyhow, it's just, holy shit. The other day I got a comment in one of my videos where someone asked me to get into politics. And I was flattered. I was honored. Thank you to that individual. But my loyalty is to Canada, first and foremost. My loyalty is to my friends and families, to my loved ones, my wife. God, I love my wife. She is such a wonderful human being. Just her gutso, her moxie is fucking fantastic. You'd love her too. But those are my loyalties. And to any one party, I agree with some conservative values. I agree with libertarian values. I agree with PPC, but there's something going on with the PPC right now that just doesn't sit right with me. So if I was to get into politics, it would be under the libertarian ticket. Basic fundamental liberties for everybody. Right? I listened to some of Tim Moyne's words. I've read some of his work. What a fantastic human being as the leader of the Libertarian Party. It's a non-aggressive principle. I don't believe in striking first. I don't believe in beating the shit out of people. But there's some people out there that deserve a good whooping. And after seeing that footage on television and reading about it online here, some of these riots and these, pulling people out of their trucks and smashing their businesses and throwing stones and bringing children to these fucking demonstrations too. Come on, people, wake up. It is just ridiculous. Right? Just effing ridiculous. And for what? For what? Anyhow, here's a message from my sponsor.
Rampage Coffee Company. Extremely delicious coffee. Roasted with purpose, then delivered to your favorite mug. Our delicious coffee comes packed with enough attitude to punch you out of your morning slippers. Here at Rampage Coffee Company, we provide you superior quality coffee that is delivered to the doorsteps of any Canadian who is ready to take their coffee game to the next level. We hand select quality beans to be a small batch roasted by our head roaster, which ensures unparalleled attention to details and amazing quality in all our coffee. Cheers to a freshly roasted kick-ass coffee. Rampage Coffee Company. Use the code CRUSTYCANUCK to get free shipping on the Rampage sampler.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The folks at Rampage Coffee do a fantastic job. They're a young couple out of Saskatoon. Please try their product. It is fantastic. Anyway, carrying on. More and more every day of the race card. And like I said, we're halfway through 2020 and what has been accomplished and what has been done. So what's going to happen in the next few months? We know our government's not going to take a stand. They'd rather sit there and do their pressers and do their photo ops and look pretty. Meanwhile, they're giving Donald Trump a hard time for checking out a monument that was vandalized by protesters, or what they call protesters. I call them looters because they're not protesting anything, except for the token few that actually give a care about what they're doing. And they want to see their democracy become fruitful again, just like we want to see our democracy become fruitful again. Right? We're not perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Democracy is not a perfect system. But as I've said time and time again, I'd rather live in a democratic state than a totalitarian state. Okay? I'd rather live in a place where everyone can pray and worship to their own ability without worrying about forcing any kind of agenda down anyone's throat. Okay? That's the society I like. I'm not religious, but I'm not condemning anybody who is. Right? I don't believe the state has any kind of right to dictate how you live your life under any circumstance, especially when the so-called quote-unquote pandemic is going around, especially when half these health officials can't give us a solid, concrete answer on what to do, right? And that's why a lot of people go to independent outlets to find answers, because they want to find common sense, concrete answers without worrying about who's going to get offended or who's going to be bypassed or someone's thunder being stolen. I remember a time in our lives where adults were resilient, where they could tolerate comments, where they could tolerate a little sarcasm and a little criticism and carry on with their day. What's happened? I used to get razzed all the time when I was playing hockey. I was not the best hockey player, but I still played. I still did my job, right? I wasn't the best soccer player, but I stood out there, kicked the ball, stood my line of defense, did the best I could, right? I wasn't the best shot when I first started in the military, but I got better, right? It happens. You're resilient. You try. You practice. You get ahead. Here, all we're seeing is the media narrative spinning this into some kind of race war, which is not a race war. Nobody wants a race war. Who in their right fucking mind would want that? The only person I can think of who actually wanted that was Charles Manson. And he's dead now, so good fucking riddance. Right? None of us want that. And none of us are promoting that. So, if there's any journalists that happen to be listening to this right now, smarten the fuck up. And start being a little more genuine. If there are any television presenters out there that are listening to this, smarten the fuck up. Start being a little more genuine and honest. Okay? Gives a fuck what your editors say? Who gives a fuck what this person says here based on hurt feelings? Let's start looking at the hard facts. The only people that are promoting division are the government officials. There, I've said it. Okay? The elected officials, especially here in Canada, right? 1 minute you're saying you want diversity. The next minute you're saying, oh my God, there's racism everywhere. How? Where? Give us the proof. If there is, let's go and fight it together and destroy it. Instead of just sitting there on television when it's convenient, when you come out of your cottage showing off your fucking socks. Like, every day I am losing more and more respect for the Liberal government. Because firstly, it's a contradiction. There's nothing liberal about them. Disingenuous stories, disingenuous facts, false accusations, virtue signaling. Oh, look at us. We're trying our best to be diverse. Yet you're catering to a few when you're fucking over the many. Okay? How else? How else do you promote this? Well, tell me how you feel. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook again at Crusty Canuck, on the Instagram at Canuck Crusty, and I'll have a link to my Twitter account too. By all means, please send me an email or some of your thoughts. Give me a comment on the YouTube and the Podbean respectively. Excuse me. And I'll also include a mailing address through in the description as well, where you can actually send me snail mail if you desire. Or free stuff or prizes. You know, it's up to you. I'm not asking for treats here. But if you feel like donating, please consider donating too. I'm trying to raise some money to make this podcast even bigger and brighter. I'm trying to purchase some extra equipment. So things are financially tight for me right now. But if you do contribute anything, by all means, please do. And the deal that I still have is on with the $5 to $10 a month. If you donate $5 to $10 on any of my pay subscriptions, you can get yourself a free t-shirt of your choice from my Teespring line. And if you just want to buy some shirts, you can do that too. I'll leave all the links in the description. But carrying on again with this halftime. Halfway through 2020, and more people are scared to speak out. More and more people are speculating. But people are getting their statements from one channel or the next channel. They're not thoroughly thinking about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Right? I'm not going to walk around anymore with a mask on. I do it for my job, but I'm not doing it in public. I'm not going to cater anymore to following the lines on a road or into a store. Right? I believe all businesses are essential. I believe all work is essential because it puts food on people's tables. It keeps the lights on. It makes sure that little Billy and Betty can get their dance and their soccer games respectively. Right? And I'm going to stand with the CCFR on the lawsuit to the federal government and their unfair, bloody bias when it comes to banning guns. And there'll be a video I'll put in with my description too. MP Mott's debating Mr. Blair in Parliament in regards to what is banned and not banned. And of course, the typical Liberal response is the non-answer scenario that we're all accustomed to now. So I'll let you decide. Read it for yourself. But again, I digress. This is just getting ridiculous, folks. We are better than that. Okay, I don't buy the whole racist bullshit. I don't buy the whole systematic racism crap. We are no longer part of the British Empire. We don't follow those guidelines anymore. We're not under the Roman Empire rules, where a slave is this and a master is this and a centurion's that. I don't buy that shit. And neither should you. Right? Neither should you. Because all the Canucks and the Americans I have talked to the past 2 years since I started this podcast, you know, they're all down-to-earth people. We're all down-to-earth, regular working-class people. Some are Asian, some are black. I've met some Portuguese. I've met some Chinese. I've met some French. I've met Germans, some Russians. I've reached out and talked to many people. And we're all saying the same thing when it comes to common sense. Let people be. Let's just do our own thing. Live and let live, and we actually fucking mean it. But no, we got to put up with more of this leadership crap. And more of the virtue. So this halftime 2020, well, you know, it's looking pretty, I don't know. Like I said before, in a couple of my episodes, I do see violence on the horizon, but not like this. This is just stupid. Right? This is just ridiculous. And I wonder how many other cities other than Montreal is going to be affected in Canada. Right? Now, we shouldn't sit in our high horse because when the Vancouver Canucks lost their chance at the Stanley Cup, there was a riot in Vancouver. And there was a riot in Montreal in 1993 when the Montreal won their last Stanley Cup. So, yeah, it's kind of hypocrisy at its finest, but I don't know what to say, people. I really don't. Other than I'm disappointed and shocked, but we got to keep fighting the good fight. We got to stand on our morals, stand on what was right. Do not tolerate what the media has been telling us. Ask the tough questions. I keep saying ask the tough questions. And we get a chance to, we got to. Let's go out and protest without smashing other people's property. Right? But in the same sense, let's have the ability to defend ourselves from Antifa thugs and the so-called marginalized thugs out there that would sooner throw a brick and steal something than actually stand on guard for something. Right? Anyhow, folks, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 2nd of June, 2020. I'm going to go outside and finish with my gardening. I'm going to be planting some carrots now. So I know I said that last week, but then it rained most of the week. So anyhow, I'm going to finish that, finish cutting the grass, and make my wife a wonderful dinner. Anyhow, you guys take care of yourselves, look after your loved ones, and please consider donating if you can. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and comment. It all helps the algorithm and as independent folks get ahead. And just remember, folks, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here.